Okay, we're going to hear from our pole sitter, Travis Pastrana. Wins the Coors Light Pole Award for the 22nd annual Aaron's 312 NASCAR Nationwide Series race with a lap time of 54.255 seconds. That translates to 176.500 miles per hour. His first pole in 17 NASCAR Nationwide Series races. He drives the number 60 Roush Fenway Racing Ford. And Travis, just talk about the excitement and thrill of getting your first Coors Light pole starting out front tomorrow afternoon at Talladega.
That just sounds like a dream come true. Bringing the guys to the line at the green flag at Talladega is awesome. So definitely excited. I mean, this Roush Fenway team has worked so hard. Chad, my crew chief, is just he's like, we got it. We got a lot of work. We've been putting everything together. He goes, let's go out there, let's get this thing. And he had a lot of confidence, in myself and in the car, and it's just awesome to be able to show the work these guys are putting together. And definitely really happy to be here.
Good deal. Good deal. This is also Jack Roush's, as a car owner, first Nationwide Series Coors Light pole at Talladega. So that's a good deal. Job security for you there.
Anytime Jack's smiling, I'm smiling. So
that's right.
That's a good deal.
That's right. We'll take questions now for Travis Pastrana. If you have one, raise your hand. We'll bring you the wireless mic. We'll start here with Kenny, and then we'll go to Stan. Right here, Kenny Bruce. Get him the mic.
Kenny Bruce from NASCAR.com. Travis, what is winning a pole, whether it's here, whether it's anywhere, what does that say? What does that mean as far as from a team and from a driver standpoint?
Well, on the restrictor plate races, it means that you went out there and drove a perfectly clean lap, and that your car and your crew and everybody was working together. You picked the right line, did the right stuff, but mostly that you have the great team and a great car. Winning the pole restrictor plate race also means that you're going to have a lot of people that are willing to work with you come race day, so I'm excited about that.
Go to Stan Creekmore, and then to who? Somebody next. Stan, go ahead, Stan.
Okay, Stan Creekmore with RPMTonight.com. I actually have two quick questions for Travis. Travis, would you compare today's accomplishment to other accomplishments in your career outside of NASCAR? And the second question is, if it rains out all day tomorrow, are you going to at least feel better for a longer period of time?
For me, it's awesome to be able to go out there and to know that we have a great team, a great car, that we put in a good lap. Here at Talladega and at Daytona as well, it's not quite as much on sheer driving ability. It's the ability to keep focused and keep it smooth, but it's not. You're not sliding the car. You're not. There's not a lot of braking points or any braking points for that matter. So it's definitely a huge accomplishment to be able to just start here at Talladega. To lead them to the green is something that I'll always be able to say that I've done. Well, assuming that we don't get rained out here, and I'm pretty excited about that as an accomplishment. But at the same time, if we get a pole at a Dover or another place that's more of a driver's track, I think that's more respect from the other drivers. But as far as something that to check off the list, this is really high on that list. So I'm excited.
Who else was next now? Oh, I'm sorry, Jenna.
Jennifer, AP. I just was thinking back to Daytona, and late in that race, you seemed like a pinball there in the middle of that pack.
Felt like one.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you about that. What was that like for you, and what are your memories of Daytona?
Daytona was wild because we qualified really well. We knew we had a good car, but we kind of just dropped to the back, and that was the plan. We found Tony Stewart. He found his way to the front at the end, but found Tony Stewart and just kind of rode in the back. I didn't have any practice pushing anyone at Daytona, so I was like, look, I'm just going to stay out of trouble as much as I can. And all of a sudden, all my friends were kind of starting to take off to the front with about 20 to go. And the 43, my teammate Annette, he took off, and my spotter said, just follow him wherever he goes. And we went from 35th, and I came across the line in 3rd. Only problem was that took about 2 laps to get there. And then from the next 10 laps, I was just trying to hold my own. And without really having a lot of experience in the bump drafting, we were kind of bouncing back like a pinball. And all of a sudden, Annette takes a hard right, takes out Dylan and 2 cars to my right. And then the 5 was pushing me, and Casey K ends up crashing. It happened so fast. One thing that I had no idea about was you can't see past the bumper of the guy in front of you, and then if you have cars beside you, you can't see past them either. So you're just looking for that Sunoco sign coming into the corner, and you're like, okay, there it is, and you turn. And at 200 miles an hour, if anyone misses that landmark, everybody else crashes. So it's kind of scary having your life in other people's hands, but they're great. So they're good drivers, and happy to be a part of it.
Do you feel more, with that little bit of experience, do you feel more comfortable now?
Without a doubt, I feel more comfortable, but honestly, I feel the most comfortable after, especially working with the 43 in practice. Sorensen was awesome, and just everyone was afraid. Trevor pushed me a little bit. He's like, "Dude, you're gonna crash. I got to get away from here." And then Sorensen's like, "No, do this, do this, do this," and we put in a great time tandeming. So I'm excited about what the race brings, and it's definitely a lot of luck is going to be involved. But I know we have a fast car. I know we have great teammates, and I'm hoping to be up front.
I believe we've got a couple over here. Let's go with Reed, and then whoever's next to Reed. I just see a hand.
George is next to me. So.
Okay, sorry, George.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. Travis, you do a lot of competitions, or have done, where the element itself takes a couple of seconds or something like that. What's it like for you to be involved in a process like this where it takes almost 2 minutes to complete both laps, and you have to stay focused and concentrating for that entire period of time?
To be perfectly honest, came from motocross that was, a lot shorter races, but still, 35-minute races. And everyone says, oh, well, NASCAR, you must get, to the layman, they're like, oh, you must get bored, or it's just driving around. This is a little different when you're by yourself for qualifying, but here, the whole time you are, white knuckle grip. I got tendonitis my first NASCAR race because I was holding on so tight, and tendonitis in my elbow. Like, I was just like white knuckle grip and everything the whole time. So it feels like that intensity, only it goes on for 2 hours. And the cool part about NASCAR is, like, when you get done, like, I can't even talk. I'm just like, I sit down at night, I'm mentally exhausted and just been on the edge the whole time. And you run a heart rate of 140 and you're just sitting there. So that's just pure adrenaline for that whole time. So it's, when you have that much adrenaline and you're that nervous, and especially if I'm so new at this, like, it's still, my heart rate's going to be 150 just coming to the line tomorrow, leading the least pack into the green flag. So definitely excited, and it's not hard to stay focused.
Yeah, George Diaz, Orlando Sentinel, kind of piggybacking on what he asked, though, but comparing the super speedways to the normal 1.5 or whatever ovals, is there more of that rush with super speedway racing that you would in a standard NASCAR track?
When you're with everybody else, because the crashes happen, but you need to know what's going to happen about at least 4 or 5 seconds, which is hundreds of yards in advance. Even sometimes a half lap in advance, you can kind of see what's coming up. So this is the experience. And for me, not having that experience, I'm just always analyzing everything that's going on. So for me, I have that rush the whole time, because I'm like, okay, he's on my outside. That's taking wind off here. That's taking wind off the front. I'm getting a draft here. How can I go faster and not crash myself and everyone around me? So I'd say that this is more of a thinking game, where I get more of that adrenaline rush of, oh man, we're loose, we're coming at the wall, at a place like Darlington or something.
Other questions for Travis? Kenny's got one right here.
Travis, just can you kind of recap your global rallycross experience recently?
Honestly, it was a pretty. We didn't turn out so good down there. We got with the dart. We've got a lot of power. We definitely have the heaviest, biggest car, and the traction. We didn't have a lot of traction down there, so we didn't qualify very well. Everyone knew that it was Scott Speed did an amazing job, just really finessing the throttle. Was the only person that was able to make a pass all week. So everybody went in the first turn wide open, because we were assuming we could maybe pass one guy, maybe two if we're lucky. So whatever place we come out of that first turn is the best we're going to end up. And unfortunately, the past champion, Tanner Faust, Ken Block, and myself, and Buddy Rice didn't come out of the first turn. We knew probably 4 or 5 weren't coming out. We were just hoping it wasn't us.